Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. This is episode 114, the final episode of our Halls of Arden Vul Megadungeon campaign. The Halls of Arden Vul is by Richard Barton, and we're using a heavily modified version of the old school Essential system by Gavin Norman, otherwise known as Necrotic Gnome. My name is John, I'm your referee for the evening, and we have a full house tonight. Going around the horn, we have...
Hi, I'm Mike, and for the last time, I'll be playing Brother Lothar, 7th level cleric of Odin, Destroyer of Turtles.
Yeah. Hi, I'm David. Hi, I'm David, and I will be playing Upior, the Necromancer, and I would like you all to know that Mima is doing just fine.
Hi, everyone. I'm Matt. Tonight I'll be playing Wolfhard Cheek, newly 8th level fighter, and newly the face in space. It's a new thing. I'm trying it out.
Yeah.
Workshop.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ted. Tonight, I will be reprising my role as Mortis J. Gobliano. Last of the V8 interceptors. Would have been a shame to blow me up.
Right on.
So confused.
Come on. You guys know what that's from. Go ahead, John.
It is the final episode of after 100. This is the 114th episode. To those of you who have gotten this far, I assume that you probably wouldn't just pick up this episode and watch it on its own. So, which means you've gone all the way through. For which we thank you for sticking with us for this long. Okay, so let's get right into it. It is the 26th of Gelenios. It is 2:20 p.m. They have recently teleported back from the Bastion with the drive rods back to the hangar bay, where they have left Trivlock, the Rudishva survivor, busy at the laboratory section with the centrifuges and all that kind of stuff, making the deuterium helium arcanum compound, which she understands the advanced science needed to form that compound, which should produce enough jump fuel to allow the shuttle to do one faster than light jump. So
we're going to Omicron Persei 8, right?
Wherever you like.
Okay.
So yeah, she was actively working on that compound. You had also declared at the end of last episode that you wanted to rest there while she was making that compound. She will be finished before your rest is finished. The compound takes about 6 hours to make. So let's see. If you're going to rest now, then it will take you to about 10:20 p.m. But you want to go further until it's actually the morning. Is that correct?
I think so.
Okay.
I think we should all go up to the recreation deck, and we can all eat those space cakes and hang out, and we can
Play some space pong.
Beer out of or foosball or whatever Brudishvans play in their lounge. I don't know. And just we should celebrate, have a little party.
So you're going to teleport back to the Bastion then?
Well, except we bring Trivlock with us to make her hang out and party with us once the fuel's done.
Okay. So
that's what I think. I mean,
what time do you want to stop resting?
8 a.m. Are we going to just kind of go through until the night and just get up the next morning kind of thing?
Yeah.
Bird gets the worm.
Okay, at 8 a.m. Very good. Okay, so during that rest period is when Wolfhard actually gains a level, and we've got 2 retainers. You've got 3 retainers with you right now. You got Sam, Versania, and Barrios. Both Barrios and Versania raise. I mean, Barrios goes up 1 level. Versania goes up a shitload, right?
Yeah, she's going up 3 levels.
Okay, so Barrios, why don't we roll your hit points?
With the big boys, man. You advance quickly.
That's right. Let's do a roll for Barrios first.
Okay, Barrios will be rolling a D8, and he has a +1 con modifier, and he rolls. He rolled a 1.
Oh, wow.
Oh my god! I was hoping he would surpass Mort's hit points, but he's now at 27 hit points.
And what level Beastman is?
He'd be a 6th level Beastman / Ranger.
Not bad, Barrios. To end the run.
Not bad at all.
Okay, and Versania goes up to what?
She is going all the way up to level 4. John.
Sweet. All right,
she went up 3 levels.
So 3d6, right, for acolytes?
Yep. Okay. I'm going to roll them straight down the line just for fun.
Nice.
There you go. Oh, not bad at all. That's 9, 10, 11. She gets 11 more hit points, bringing her up to 15.
Great. And the expertise points that you put into her abilities, like just give us the highlights, like what's she really good at now?
Yeah, so she's good at bless. She's able to give allies and people around her a +1 if she rolls a 4 and 6. Detecting magic, she gets a 3 and 6 now. And knowing alignment, she has a 3 and 6 there too. So I was thinking like she's mostly going to be like hanging out at the Temple de Lysion, like helping people traveling through, and those seem like they'd be very helpful.
Right.
No alignment.
Very empath sort of thing. Yeah.
Oopie or hide. She can know alignment.
What's Trivlock's alignment,
Oh,
man?
she knows.
Comes in the back.
Okay, and then last but certainly not least, the great Wolfherd Cheek has slipped in 1 level at the very last second. He's a
Somebody
level
had
fighter, so he gets one last sweet hit point roll.
Here we go. We got it right here. This is going to be not bad at all. It's a 6.
Oh, nice. All right, what do you end up with?
Well, it kind of depends. Did the drinking from the fountain ever wear off?
The drinking.
Remember we drank in the fountain near the God Phone. He got a bonus to his con.
Oh, right. Yeah. What's the date today? You still have the bonus actually.
Nice. So yeah, with that bonus, he was at 36. So now he's at 42.
Nice. All right. Is that the highest any of the PCs have ever gotten? 42? Did Avaricios have higher?
Yeah.
No, he never got that high. No.
Wow. Cool. All right. Well done, Wolford. All right. So that is the final levels up for the campaign. Everything's going to be final right now. Mort, you have recovered after the rest from the Pneuma of Thoth. So that one spell that you were granted light, which I believe you chose, that goes away. And you lose your extra smartness, but you gain back all of your physical stuff. So you're on an even keel once again.
Okay.
Dumb and hot one more time.
Right.
Punch space.
Now, the moment that everyone's been waiting for, of course, is to find out what exactly happens with Freitas the Stern, Wolfherd's much desired companion, unknown if the feeling is reciprocated.
Yeah, they met once, and sometimes you just know.
Right. Well, this is obviously the climax of the entire campaign. So, with that in mind, knowing that with the shuttle activation imminent, that getting her up here at any amount of time safely would require both in-game time and in real-world time. You're sending a message down, right? So we're going to retcon down to Gosterwork. So we're going to retcon back quickly to the last rest, which was back in the Debouche. And at that point, you're going to choose, I assume, it's not going to be a goblin, right? But one of the retainers, perhaps, that's going to send a message down to Gosterwick?
Yeah, I'll do Ignominious, who's
your old
not
NPC.
had anything to do this whole time.
Okay.
That way I know I can trust him.
All right, so Ignominious is going to go take your message back to Freitas, and that should be fine. Yeah, that's no big deal.
Yeah. But he did want to just run something by Akla Cha first. He's going to tap on the command bracelet when nobody else is around. Are you there, Akla Cha? It's me, Wolfherd.
I'm here, Wolfherd. What can I do for you?
I just, I wanted to run something by you. There's this girl in town, and I want to invite her on our little trip.
Very
well. I don't really have time to go down there myself, so I wrote a little something to try to entice her to meet us. And I thought I might just, run it by someone with a female, state of mind.
It's a computer, dude.
You're not there.
She kind of laughs a little bit, and you can kind of hear it, and she says, I always did think that you perhaps had a penchant for romance. Let's hear it, Wolfherd.
All right. Well, and so he takes out this piece of paper and licks off some skeleton bone dust and monster goo off the edges. Okay. I've just been working on, you let me, don't hold anything back. Okay. This is what I've got. I'm tired of this dungeon. Been inside it too long. Everything tries to kill you, and it goes on and on. But as I've lain here sleeping, my thoughts have Freitas the Stern. And while I'm nobody's poet, I thought I'd give this a turn. Do you like pineapple rum and coconut drinks? and stupid parody songs, giving sharp recriminations, detailing all of my wrongs. If you like flying through the stars above, the whole world in our wake, I'm the old bastard you've looked for. Ride Arden's hand and escape.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Aquacha like sits on it for a minute, and she just sends it like a real deadpan voice. She goes, "No notes."
All right. Thank you. And he's going to like take that one and this other one that he wrote, and he's going to rip up this one that he just read, and he's going to send the other note.
Okay. A longer note.
It's longer. It's a little different in tone.
Okay, got it. Okay, so that note is going to get taken down to Gosterwick, and I assume it has instructions for like, where to meet you.
The gist of it is to that he wants to meet her atop Arden's hand with the Arden Vader, and in the envelope with it, he sends his AV Club pin, kind of as a symbol. Like that's a really important thing, right? That's right. Kind of proves that it's him, and also gives her the free access to ride up and down, so she can tell that it's kind of like a sincere.
Got it. Okay, yeah. Oh, and for those who may have forgotten, Freitas is actually the steward of Lady Alexia, the green lady who rules over Gosterwick. And
just remind me, was she in some way blind, or possibly had no nose, or
no, just incredibly severe.
Well, yes, she could be forgiven for perhaps seeing some spark in Wolford whenever she first met him, but Wolford's physical appearance has changed drastically since. And
well, she doesn't know this. This is why notes work in your favor. Really, when half of your face is melted off.
You're very selective in what you mentioned to her. Yeah. All right. So we'll see how that goes. So that gets sent away the previous night. So now we're going back to where we were before. So you rest for a very long time. For the initial 6 hours of that rest period, Trivlock is just working up a storm over in the laboratory. It's very interesting work, like when you watch her do it, but it's very delicate as well. Like anytime you sort of get close, she sort of like brushes you back, like be careful, like this is volatile compounds, and if I screw anything up, it's gonna cause problems, and we won't be able to get off the ground.
Watching Tony Stark do stuff.
Exactly
make no
like
sense
that.
To us at all, and
just completely bizarre and foreign to you. It looks like she's working magic. Like Upior, you're probably like the most like agog at like what she's accomplishing. So she does more than just create the compound. So she focuses most of her work on that, but she also goes back and forth between the shuttle and the laboratory frequently. And you can see that she's mostly working on inside the shuttle those parts that were cobbled together by the Radishra back in the day when they were attempting to strip parts from the other shuttle in order to rig this one ready for spaceflight. And she's kind of jimmy rigging. She's kind of jimmying like the new astrogation station, the new compartments to hold fuel cells, that sort of thing. And most of that has been placed into what was the section of the shuttle, which was the engineering and science station, that has been basically completely retrofitted with just the necessary equipment to power a shuttle for space flight. And she's going back and forth with that. As part of this, she tells you that she will have to, because of her knowledge, will have to sit in the pilot's chair. Right? She will have to pilot it out of here. She's going to have Aklacha run systems and things like that, but she will need people to push physical buttons. So what she recommends that you do, because only Wolford will be able to understand, because remember that she's talking to Wolford, and Wolford is translating all of this for you, right? Wolford won't be able to do it all. So what she recommends you do is, if you have paint or ink of some sort, to sort of write what Wolford tells you to write on some of these stations.
We'll make our own little labels, like on the
your own
lunar
labels.
lander.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so
and we can easily get that stuff out of the sack. Yeah, we
can you pull one of those things out of the sack that's like the red plastic tape, and you punch letters one by one into it.
Label maker.
The old-fashioned
Label maker.
Yeah, I think
You just squeeze really hard.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
your
that's
hand gets
the
super tired. Yeah,
that
one.
was
Okay.
what was
Yeah,
in
I
my
got one of
mind,
those.
but there's no possible way to get one of those. So, paint will have to do. So do you?
I
you
mean,
follow
we could get a quill, a pot of ink, parchment, and like spirit gum or whatever to just stick labels onto shit too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Post-it notes.
Easy enough. Yeah.
That's something we can do, during a rest without really messing up stuff, right? Like,
yeah, exactly. That is just something that you would be doing while,
Tell you the words, you write them down. Sure.
Right. Okay. So you do that. We won't go through like all the different stations and stuff like that, but you can kind of picture. So the shuttle itself, don't forget, is already had like a big paint job on it. I don't know if I've told you that, but I'll reinforce that. But it looks like what the Redishvig note called a Carmundi, which was a dragon on their world that had very much sort of like a Chinese dragon sort of feel to it, like more like serpentine, wingless sort of thing, right? That's the kind of vibe that the paint job looks like, and the view screen out the front, out of the cockpit, is where the dragon's like gritted teeth would be, right? So just don't forget, it's not like some just white or gunmetal gray thing. It's like it's very colorful. Yeah, it's kind of badass looking. Yeah,
We should probably at least warn Trivlock, since she's going to be flying, about Kraz. I don't know that it's going to be a factor, but just we have would you call it not a Grimlock? What do they call it on their world?
the dragon,
That's a transformer.
a Carmundi.
Carmundi.
I have some thoughts on exactly that issue, Mike.
Do you?
What type of dragon was Cross again?
Cross was a green dragon.
A green dragon.
Dragon.
A mean and green. A mean and green dragon. I happen to have a scroll with a certain spell called Permanent Illusion on it. And I think this ship would look very attractive as a green dragon to anyone perceiving it.
It's going to
Get a
make
Bugs Bunny, Kraz.
How's it going to screw us? How would it screw us? Dragon Cross flies over this plateau all of the time, right? Cross seen another green dragon, if he did, would be hesitate to attack in the way that he would attack a spaceship, I suppose. I think, right?
Or he would look at it and say,
or the
"I
opposite.
suffer no rivals," and
Right.
immediately
What is the most powerful dragon that Cross would be subordinate to?
I mean, you're assuming that they have like the same kind of hierarchy.
I know. I'm doing
Chromatic
like D&D,
dragons.
right?
Kraz is basically smog. Like, who would Smog be afraid of? Right?
Ultra Smog.
Ultra Smog. Mecha
Smog.
yeah,
Mecha
Smogulot. There we go.
Mecha Smogulot. Got it.
What if you just made us look invisible? Could you use your scroll to just make us look invisible?
Does that sound like the end of Arden Vul vibe to you? Why? I'm sorry. Quick aside for all of my lovely listeners. We're on the final episode, and they're getting worried about whether they'll die and level up again. It's the final episode, guys. Let's go out with a bang.
OSR,
baby. Come on. Let's go out as a dragon.
I don't want to get eaten by Kraz. And
Let's
John
go out as a dragon. That's all I'm saying.
You guys mentioned the fact that, like, oh yeah, there is a huge, very dangerous deific level beast that very well may take offense to the presence of the shuttle. And Trivlock is in the middle. She has got like her goggles on, and she's like over top of like a centrifuge, like working. She just sort of stops and raises up her goggles and just sort of looks up at you. She's like, "Oh, that would have been a good thing to mention on our first meeting, perhaps." She puts down her goggles and she's like, "Little we can do about it now," and she gets back her tongs and.
Okay, so
I have another suggestion for you. Just something to play out. A thought.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than something like, if you want something, if I'm getting your strategy, you want something that he would want to avoid. You could also perhaps use this illusion power to have something that he would be attracted to while we scooch away. A giant pile of treasure.
Flying through the sky, just
no. In the middle of
on the ground where we are not.
Yeah. No. It alters. Okay, so it's going to alter like a 20 cubic foot by 10 cubic foot per level. So times 7, plenty of space. around the object we're in. So it can't be like cast upon the ground below us. In other words, the logic that you're using is the logic I'm thinking of, which is making it look like a green dragon will hesitate and immediately attack. Even if it's an attractant, we are flying away. We're not staying. We're going to fly into the stratosphere where Cross can't breathe.
Make us look like Voltron. Make us look like Voltron.
Okay, yeah. John, I'm casting the spell and I'm making the ship look like a giant green dragon. Is that okay, guys? Come on.
Do what you feel, dude. Do what you feel.
Wait, it's good. Wait, that's going to scare that's going to scare my girlfriend away. Why don't you do it when we fly off?
That's okay.
Maybe
this got really convoluted in a way that I did not
want.
Okay, so after you can do what you want. I'm just letting you know that after 6 hours, so at about 8:00 p.m., so about 12 hours before you said you're going to finish your rest, so about 8:00 p.m. on the 26th, the compound is finished. All right.
Nice.
So she basically what she does is she has goggles on and she uses shanks and a crucible that contains like a glowing orange jump fuel. Like it has the same sort of orange tint as Arcanum, but it's like glowing like lava almost, right? And she carefully takes the shanks, picks up the crucible, and pours it into two relatively small plasteel cylindrical containers, like larger than data crystals, but smaller than those huge tanks of regular fuel. Okay, so and she pours them very carefully. Definitely tells you guys to step back, and then she takes like a plasteel cap and she slowly screws it on, like, it's like interminable the amount of time it takes for her to screw those on, right? And then she tells you to back away, and she herself picks up those containers and she walks over to the shuttle. She walks into the back through the airlock and inserts it into the two jury rig chambers that are marked for them that were there previously before you ever met Trivlock. And they were labeled with Radishva glyphs that said orange, rock, and compound on each one of those containers. And they kind of sort of get set in there with like an audible like thunk, right? And she kind of closes the cap over top of them. And then you see a gauge that's been jury rigged and installed that she was twiddling with earlier that sort of fills up, right? And lights up in green. So at that point, it's like the compound is made. It's good to go. You now have 12 hours, and Trivlock tells you that during your rest here, that now is the time to stock anything that you want in the shuttle to decide who's going to be going, and doing any last minute adjustments or what you're going to leave, what you're going to bring with you, all that sort of stuff.
Does she? I'll go ahead and ask her. You've seen a lot of the types of treasure that we've gathered in this dungeon, magic items, gold, and jewels, and things. Are any of these things that you know of also valuable where we're going? Or is it all just like, rocks and pretty lights?
No, she tells you that if we go back to Radish, that anything magical would be of extreme interest to the Radishva. She repeats what she said last session, though, too, that it's been a millennium, at least, more than a millennium. She has no idea what the state of her home system is now, right? So she can't vouch for, she's just going by what the Radishva are like back then, but it's been a long freaking time. Right? So anything magical, the Radishva by nature are exploratory. They like to explore new frontiers. That was the whole purpose of the shining beacon. So really anything might be potentially valuable because it is foreign. It's from a different planet, right? So yeah.
How much Arcanum do we have left?
There's like nothing except what you have on you.
Did we have to use the mage destroying basketball sized chunk of Arcanum that's been hidden in our stash this whole time? Did we have to use that, or we still have that available?
No, because part of the laboratory stash, like what was there prior, was a bunch of Arcanum.
Okay.
Not
like
dust,
a powder,
like a powder. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, as far as Mort's concerned, because he's planning on staying, is that if you want to take whatever, any random magic item stuff, whatever, out of the stash, that's fine. love it if you left behind the rugs, because he could really use those for moving all that gold back into the remainder of the stash, and for freaking out goblins as he pops around and so on.
What's the range limit on those? We could just visit you from another solar
Well, that
system.
would be amazing. Although somehow I have a feeling like the relativity of mass velocity, you'd probably arrive at like half light speed and splat into the wall. And so I don't recommend it.
Sure.
I also, David, if there's like a spell book that you want to leave behind for Titus, that would be awesome. Boosted spell book.
You
But
want me
I
to give
understand.
away? You want me to give away? Sorry, Nat.
One of those books is probably full of shit you already know, you know?
Well, you have all of those books except Upior's, but Upior would be willing to give away his spell book on one condition.
Uh-oh. Okay. You want the chair of great ease? I knew it.
Literally, yes. That was impressive, Ted. That was very impressive. It's an exchange, equivalent value.
I would
Now,
trade.
I'm going to give it to you after, like right when we're leaving, not when I need it. You know.
Realistically, though, like there's a bunch of spell books that you copied spells from, like Titus would.
Yeah.
If you just left those spell books for Titus, Titus would have like a huge collection of spells.
That's
Sure,
all
you
I'm
have
at. You have the Library of Thoth, essentially. So why don't you keep those? I'll keep the spell book just in case we do a reunion episode in 10 years. You know,
But just any spell book you've already copied out of or don't need or it's useless to you, leave it for Titus. And then whatever else is in the stash that you guys want, you should take.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should take, like I said, as many magic items as we possibly can. It sounds like those are going to be our best bet to some kind of currency if we need it.
Magic items, arcanum, and like potable, easily portable things like gems. I would be down for. Breggy is going to stay with Mort and act as his like lieutenant in conquering whatever you're going to conquer. That'd be awesome. So I don't know. So I'm actually pretty indifferent to that. I do think we need like, since we're going on a long voyage, we need like, some rum and some like, limes and, stuff like that. So we don't get scared.
Salt tack. So
Triblock holds up one of the Nutribor packs. She's like, we got plenty of these.
I do think I would like to take Samantha aside for a moment. Now that we're talking about this, it gives me a notion. And I'd like to say to Samantha, Samantha, I apologize that I've neglected you all of these many days.
Oh,
I believe it or not, saw you as a virtuous individual that, in the company of these men, myself included, might lose perspective on what is good for the people of Arden Vul. And knowing that, I'd like to give you something on one assurance from you. Should tyranny of any form
my God,
take these halls, and I trust that you know it when you see it, I like not giving you an object of such significant and vile nature, but please be the benefactor of the people and steer them back to equality. And I'm going to give her the crown or the circle.
you're not going to give that to Mort.
So she takes it and she kind of looks around. She looks at Mort and she looks back.
I took her aside. Yeah.
Yeah. And she looks over at you and she goes, I think they saved me a seat.
Oh, on the ship. Is she coming with us? I didn't know that.
This is what happens, David, when you don't read the Discord.
She's like, yoink, thanks, I'll see you on the ship.
Not what I thought you were going to give her, David. I thought you were going to give her the ring of the stalker, and you're going to be like, if Mort gets out of line, fucking take him out.
No. I have a plan for later in this episode for that ring.
Oh, God. Okay.
No, I wanted to give her the crown, but that's true. I didn't realize. For some reason, I thought Sam was staying behind.
She is still your retainer. She is honestly, she's probably she would be realistically like deathly afraid of going aboard the ship because it's all similar to you guys. It's all like foreign. Like what are we doing? But she's always up for a new adventure, so she's totally fine with going aboard. That said, game wise, she is still your retainer. She will do as you ask. You've never done her wrong. So if you decide now that you want to leave her behind, she's not going to think ill of you, and she will accept the Iron Circlet with great reverence, of course, and she will keep a steady eye on Mort.
She should take the Iron Circlet no matter what.
And for what it's worth, it's not just aimed at Mort. It's a general
Sure.
statement. I would qualify that by saying, believe not in the deifications of blood or patron. They will mislead you. Remember, Samantha, I am going to encourage her to say it, but I'm going to give her the choice. It is the people that we are here for. The people of the world should unite.
Okay.
Before you do that, though, are you sure? Because I think that thing can charm people, right?
It can.
You're a bit worried about Trivlock, as you've been mentioning.
I have another plan for that. You're getting ahead of it. Don't worry.
Oh my God! Okay,
baby, don't worry about it, baby.
Okay. So just to be clear, Sam,
everything except Sam coming along.
I'm going to strongly suggest, but not demand, that Sam would be better off staying if she's afraid, right? And if she's
brave.
comfortable with this place, this is giving her a position of great value, and I would like her to use it for good, essentially.
she's afraid but excited. Like again, she would be happy to do either. So so you guys can decide she is the retainer. So do you as a group?
I'm sorry, Samantha the Red. We need a red shirt on this mission. We absolutely need a red shirt.
I'm gonna roll a d6. How about that? Is that fair?
For what?
Sure.
What?
1 to 3, she stays. 4 to 6, she comes.
Okay.
Is that, no? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine
Do
by
it.
me. It's up to you guys. Yeah.
Okay,
Sure.
she's coming with us. Oops, redacted everything I just did. All right, ain't that
Yeah,
just
you
the
know
way?
You try to get her to let go of that.
She pushes the iron.
Again,
She pushes the Iron Circlet back, and she's like, "It fits you. You should retain control." And she gives you a very like meaningful side look over at Trivlock, and she says, "I would be happy to stay with the AV Club on their further journeys, regardless
can
of
I
where
do
they take
one
us."
more thing?
Mhm.
Can I do one more thing, John? While I'm off to the side, I would like to attempt being the pertinent word, because there's a little bit of arbitration on your end, to use alter reality on my spell scroll when no one is around to watch me do so. And alter reality replicates the effect of limited wish. The limited wish I would like, aspirationally, to ask for is knowledge of how to pilot this ship.
Ooh. Okay. Is this a Osric spell or is this a...
I found it in Osric. I did not look in OSC because I assumed because it was a scroll from the dungeon, it would not be an OSC. But I can look at OSC as well, real quick. Alter reality. Oh,
No,
wait.
it's not, it's not
No,
there.
no, it's not.
Okay, so let me just find it here. Spells. Illusionist spell, I assume. Yeah, alter reality.
Illusion.
That
That scroll has like.
Creation of a phantasmal force prior to casting, which serves as a focus for the spell. Interesting.
I also have that spell if I need to cast it prior to using the scroll. But
Let me just look up Limited Wish real quick.
yeah, that
Nice
scroll
one,
had
dude.
the best illusion spells I've ever seen. It's wild.
This moment used to grant minor wishes, but effects will be permanent. Particularly when used to make major changes in reality. Okay.
So you're calling shotgun, David? Is that it?
I'm not making it known that I'm calling shotgun. I'm
Okay.
casting this discreetly on the side.
Okay, so actually, let me take a look at Alter again. Same effect requires the creation of a phantasmal force prior to casting, which serves as a focus for. Okay, so basically, it's Limited Wish. Okay, so tell me the wording of your wish.
I would like to comprehend. Now I got nervous.
You know me. I'm not gonna try to fuck you on a wish. But
I want to
clear.
understand. I want to have a full understanding of how to pilot and navigate the ship. I want to know how to use the ship. I'm not asking to know where a particular planet is. I just want to know that I know how to take this into to space and how to activate the jump drive, even if I don't know where it's going. Does that make sense?
You should be asking for the requisite knowledge and skill set for safely piloting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's precisely what I'm saying. I don't want to go too big with my ask, Ted, because if I go too big, like tell me what the star system looks like, that feels like I'm pushing.
That's fine.
Again.
I think operating the ship is great because then she's hitting like an ejector seat button or something like that.
That's a slick fucking use of that spell.
That's great.
I've been holding it.
Yeah, it's very impressive. Okay, so you do that sort of off to the side somewhere, like during the night, and just and you do one of the most powerful illusion spells there is, and that gets burned off your scroll. So make sure you erase that. And you
that I would have would be is if one of the requisite knowledge and skills to properly fly the ship is to read Rudishvin. Does that happen?
Do I understand Rudishvin? That's a good question, actually.
I would say that that's a good question. I would say that any Rudishvin that is requisite for piloting the ship, you will understand. But anything else, like even if that same word is repeated on a glyph somewhere else, you would not understand that glyph. You understand?
My words.
Like it basically translates it
down, close.
I
have sort of I kind of like enter into a cockpit and I have sort of like a savant's understanding of it, right?
Right. Like basically, like there's like a glyph that says like airlock door, and that glyph you will never understand because it's not pertinent to piloting the craft.
That makes sense.
Okay,
that makes perfect sense. I love that. I like that constraint. It's very fun. Okay.
So you're going to have to work out the head the hard way, is what this comes down.
Yes, exactly. All right. Okay,
that's what diapers are for.
Okay, so let's keep going here. So what I'm seeing now then is that there are 10 available seats. There was more prior to the jury rigging that occurred from the British fin in the past, but now there are 10 seats. Trivlock will be sitting in the pilot seat. In addition, we have the 4 of you, and then Barrios and Sam.
Mort's not going.
I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah. So Trivlock, Upior, Wolfherd, Lothar, Barrios, and Sam are going. Right. Mm-hmm. All the rest of the AV Club is staying, and will basically be under Mort's, command or a leadership, basically.
Wise and benevolent leadership.
Those were the words I was looking for.
Correct. That's what you
Okay. So that is 6 seats taken up, 4 available and free. What are you going to be doing with Bob and Vincent, the BattleBots?
I was thinking that we should take those to help us with dangers that we might face out in the who knows where, because we don't want to go outside of that ship and they don't have to breathe.
They actually take up very little room.
If I can make a counter argument, the idea of Ted roaming the halls with them and that just warms the cockles of my heart. Like, I just would really love to see Ted just striding through Goblin Hall, just like executing Setites, like just for looking at him wrong.
I like it. Can I make a third argument? Sorry, John, go ahead.
Just real quick. If you do decide to maybe split it up, one stays and one goes or something like that, Mort will not be able to command that BattleBot.
Right. It has to have the command bracelet,
That's right? Yeah.
So it's unless you give it like a command that's like guard Mort forever, that it would just probably follow him around and guard him type thing. And that would probably not be the worst thing in the world. We could split the pair.
I could do that, because the other thing to keep in mind was, you have to be able to give the commands in Rudishvin.
Correct. You need both.
Right?
You need the helm and you need the command bracelet.
You wasted that wish, David.
No, I didn't. I have a suggestion. I think we should give the order that one of our 2 or both, depending on what you guys want to do, BattleBots should seek out and kill Kronos and Estelle. And after that job is done, guard Mort for the rest of his life.
They wouldn't know who Kronos and Estelle are.
Yeah, that.
Seek out the broken head.
Kill everybody. You're murdering.
No. I'm not killing everyone.
David's got some things to work out.
Okay, excuse me. Every member of this podcast toyed with the idea of raising that thing to the ground when we flew off. So I'm just trying to give us an option.
Here's the other thing, though. If Ted has the BattleBots, he can go and murder them at his own leisure. Like he can just do that, right? So we just have to trust Mort to carry our vindictive spirit forward into the halls and make sure that he wreaks horrible vengeance upon anyone who looked at us or sold us a torch for 6 gold instead of
All right,
1.
I'm starting to kind of like
you?
this. I'm sorry. Why don't a way that we can solve this language problem? I think we're kind of on the cusp of it. Is we leave a standing order, right? Protect this goblet, or standing order, protect a space. Ted? Do you like protect this goblin? It sounds like it'd be pretty good.
So to Mike's point, the cockles of my heart are definitely warmed by the idea of little Mort striding through the hallways like a 12-foot god with these 2 things over each shoulder, blazing away at Setites with merely a glance. Keeping one with the orders to act as a bodyguard is a pretty good compromise.
Or we could send both with the orders to protect you. That way you have the badassery.
Well, if I had the command bracelet, I would need I have a book of learn Radishvan from. I mean,
right.
You need some time.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
I don't need the helm. So if an order to guard Mort would work for a short period of time, then he could
until you can change it.
Yeah,
exactly.
You could literally just give him like 5 key phrases now. Guard me, kill those guys. Like whatever, and then you can just have them on a little piece of paper. I mean, you can read, right, Mort? I don't know.
Yes.
But the problem is though, is like the it won't obey Mort unless Mort is wearing the command bracelet.
Yeah, he has to have the command
Why
bracelet.
not give him? Because we need it for everything else.
Right.
Well, you don't, because I have the
chip.
Yeah, I have the command tablet. So the only thing you need the bracelet for, as I understand it, is the robot. So if we're cool, if we don't think we need them, let's leave
it to him, dude.
You know what?
Give it to him. Just give it to him. We're taking all the magic items in the stash. Give him the death bots. Come on. I think that's
okay.
fair.
I'll do it, but I'm not happy about it.
That's a problem solved. Okay, so you have 2 very badass bodyguards now, more yours to command. The are you going to give Mort the identity plaques? Mort will still be residing he'll still be residing in a place where all those Radishvan nodes are.
We have 2 gold ones. Just give him don't we have 2?
One of the captive ones.
One was destroyed when I was melted with acid.
Oh. Well, do we need one on the ship for it to work?
No, it's only once we're on there. It's only for access doors.
Yeah, it's only for the shining beacon too. I suspect it wouldn't work for anything on Rhodesia because it would be coded wrong.
We don't know though, Ted. Like, what if we end up getting captured by Rhodesians in another campaign, and then we have those little plaques, and we're like beep, and we can run around. Like,
we don't want to go to Rhodesia, do we?
We're not. We don't know.
Both
Aquachaw. Just give him one of the highest ranking ones so that he can get through almost all.
Aquachaw insisted that we go to Rhodesia, so we're going to. We're
going to
Rhodesia.
No one's insisting anything.
No. Okay.
Well, my point is that you have people that can tell you, both Aquachaw and Trivlock can tell you that that Ted is correct, that the cards need to be reprogrammed to allow access to something else, right? So right now they're all programmed to access certain doors based upon rank within the Shining Beacon alone. So the only way that Mort will continue to have full access to every node of the Rudishva is to give him the lone yellow card that you have left.
Okay.
Are you going to give that?
I'll do it.
Yes.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course. You can't leave him here without the tools to get the job done.
Right. Okay. Cool. All right. So I think that's settled. We got
in that case, I will duly present Theodorus's chair of great ease to the party so that they may sleep comfortably on board the ship while traveling.
Yeah, one of them will anyways.
They can trade.
We can rotate.
Who has the charm crown? It'll be my chair in no time.
Funny how you all refuse every night.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think we got that settled for what's staying and what's going. It is time for our first break, so this is a good point.
All right.
Why don't we take our first break? We will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladders empty, beers full. All right, seats have been assigned, treasure and other and the bots have been distributed. We know what's going on. And you rest for the rest of the night. You wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, the final day of the campaign. You have made it to the 27th of Gelenios. It is at this point that Wolf's Con goes back down to normal. So you will
Oh man.
Yeah, you may have to subtract a hit point or two. Probably one, right?
Yeah, I'm back down to 35.
No. Okay. So at this point, Trivlock basically tells you, I need your help to bring a bunch of this stuff into the shuttle. She also had to rest as well. So the biggest thing that she needs your help with, just with manpower, is to load the regular fuel into the tanks on the ship. So they're already in like big canisters, but they're really huge. So she needs to actually help to sort of lug it in and pour it into the actual containers on the side of the ship. So those are actually labeled as well, star and fuel in glyphic. So I assume you help her do that, right?
I think between Mort and Wolford, I think we could do that pretty easily.
It's not a big deal. I'm just kind of going through the details just because it's all sci-fi sort of. The drive rod is one of the two, right? She tells you, obviously, take the other one, just in case.
Very good.
This is, besides the compound, is probably the most valuable thing that you have. The drive rod is inserted into, once again, a makeshift cylindrical chamber in the LOAS Engineering and Science Station, and that kind of clicks in. It doesn't. It's kind of anticlimactic. Actually, just sort of clicks in. There's no gauge or anything like that. She just checks to make sure it's working, and somehow she knows that it's working.
A quick question about those drive rods, John. Are these? Would it be possible to like download the plans for one of these drive rods? Because I remember that Kerbog Khan was after one, and you got a buddy.
Hey, Elvis.
Elvis.
What? David disappeared as Elvis appeared. Are they the same people?
They might be.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, anyway, I was thinking like if we could get even the plans or like the instructions of how to construct a drive rod, then we could leave that with Mort as something valuable to trade with Kerbog Khan if he ever needs to.
Triblock tells you, unfortunately, that's beyond her ken. And it's not impossible that there may be a data crystal somewhere on the Shining Beacon that has that data, similar to what she had for the solution to the propulsion problem, but she's not aware of it.
So it's not like plans that we could hit print, No,
unfortunately not. Like she leaves that up to Mort to, you might have to search the halls for those, if you want them.
Mort will just do a nice fat red crayon drawing and write DRIVROD next to it and for that to Kerbal later.
Makes things go.
Makes go, yeah. The red one go faster.
Right, exactly. Okay. She collects the astrogation crystals that had the destinations on them. She's going to leave that up to you. That's more of like a game thing. Of course, she has her preference of where she would like to go, but her main objective is that she wants to leave this planet. Everything else is secondary. And she's just more worried about just the shuttle actually, this miracle of a shuttle actually operating. But those are loaded in. The astrogation station is actually right next to the pilot's cockpit, the pilot station as well. So it's actually further forward in the ship than all the rest of the junk that's sort of in the middle of the ship. Last thing, she says, okay, we are basically ready. Now is your time to say your goodbyes to Mort. And as well, I want to impart just a quick crash course in the ship operations so that we can function when we are in the air.
I'm going to act very ignorant throughout all of this.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to read the safety code.
Do tell.
Oh, really?
So you are all gathered before the. So remember the entrance to the shuttle is actually in the very back of it. There's an airlock door, and then there's like a small pressurization chamber that. Then there's another airlock door that leads you into the shuttle proper. So you're sort of all gathered there in back of the shuttle. So it's time. You have to say goodbye to one of your core members, the oldest member.
First, I think we need to christen this ship, John. And if I could retcon that I brought a big old jug with the little X's on it of Goblin Hooch with us. We each take a slug of that and smash it across the bow of the LOAB.
Salute.
And if
Trivlock
I
is
may,
shielding.
I would like to christen this ship the Tangent, because you guys are going to go off on the tangent, and I think that's super fitting.
Very
I
good.
like it. I like it.
Do you use your ink for labeling the buttons? Like,
Oh yeah. I get the
Paint
color
on the
that like matches, like looks good with the dragon scales and stuff.
right.
Mhm.
And so I write, the tangent, like
What
fuck
language
off,
do you write it
80s
in?
That's right.
maybe all of them.
Oh, sure.
Well, I'll do it in I'll do it in the common tongue, right?
Archontian.
So we can all read it. Archontian, and then on the other side, I'll do it. What do you guys think?
Whiskin. Because what the hell?
Why not?
I love it. Upior approves.
Yeah.
Right.
He's just like, fuck all y'all, AV Club.
Yeah, that's right.
Very good.
So if you guys are going to go try and pick up your girlfriend, you're going to land up on the surface?
Oh no, I arranged to this for her to be on the hand. All we got to do is like
Just
fly
grab her
by
as you
and I'll
fly by?
And I have a better illusion idea for us. I could just make it look like a storm cloud.
There you go. I like it.
You know what I mean?
That cloud's doing
It's
something
a
weird.
cloud. It's a fast moving cloud, but it is
All right.
a cloud.
Well, I don't want to land, or I don't want to end up having to walk back from the hand by myself. Oh, wait a second. I need to get the ring back from Barrios. Otherwise, I'm going to turn him blind one day and he's going to be like, what the hell?
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so I'll stay here. I will say goodbye. And you lads have been excellent companions. I would love to go with you, but it's clear that Thoth has chosen a different path for me, and I will stay behind. I've been cruel and unkind towards my fellow goblins, and it's time that I corrected that and
I love to hear that.
help them achieve their potential. Thoth has shown me the wisdom of bringing knowledge to my brothers and sisters, and I can't in good conscience go with you, so I will stay here and only occasionally swim in the gold pieces, cackling whilst you travel.
Mort McDuck. Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
my little friend, I've only known you for about 2 weeks.
That's true.
So,
That's true of both of us.
so you have a great time. May you find lots of horny little goblin women and make lots of little goblin
Fecundity.
babies. Fecundity.
That's right. I am looking forward to. I'm gonna no, never mind. I'm not going there. That's going to go wrong. Never mind.
Wolf is going to just scoop him up and give him a big hug, squeeze him really hard to see if his little goblin eyes pop out like one of those pop-ums.
That's right.
You've been a good man, Mort. Good luck to you.
Let's fly.
What? Come on! I didn't even have my moment, Mike. Come on!
Sorry.
I'm gonna in a totally non-threatening way saddle up towards Mort, looming ahead at my close to 7 foot stature. And I'm gonna lean down. I'm gonna put my hand on the shoulder and say, "I am glad to see that you have found the light in your brethren. If the day comes that we meet again, I will guide you where you must go. Be well, my friend."
Oh, you too. And cool it with trying to kill everyone. All right, like
that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Let's have some character implications. Let's just let things be a little symbolic, baby.
Barrios and Sam both shake your hands and kind of give you like a soldier's salute, strength and honor, basically, and wish you all the best.
I know that they'll all be safer with you there, Barrios, and you too, Sam. You keep an eye on these yahoos,
and then
these rascals.
And then as you wave goodbye to Mort, we have a nice shot of like the right stuff for Armageddon with you guys all suited up and ready to get on your spaceship. And you you enter into the back. And the last thing you see is Mort just sort of saluting or waving to you as the airlock door shuts behind you.
And as the door as the door shuts, Mort yells out, and my middle name, the J is for Chunk. And you missed it.
That's fine. Actually, I go. Oh, wait.
That's so amazing.
One more thing. Sorry, and I go and I open the door again, and I say, Mort, you owe me 10 gold.
Oh yeah, sorry. Here.
Thank you.
All right, we all know what the J stands for.
John, I'm also going to go ahead and cast permanent illusion on the vehicle to look like a cloud, essentially, right?
A cloud.
A cloud. Yeah.
Okay.
Is everyone okay with that? That seems.
Yeah, I was actually thinking you should make
I think it's a good idea.
You should make it look like the G-Force, like Phoenix.
I could make it look like a like blue sky, essentially the invisible thing that you were saying. But yeah,
a cloud is great.
I think a
Cloud is fine.
But it's
I like
good.
cloud.
Okay. So you basically given a crash course about like what gauges, what these things do, basic safety procedures, all that kind of stuff, like how to strap yourself in. She tells you to do so at this point. She puts herself into the cockpit's chair, and she says she's going to do a systems check now. Okay, so you guys are all kind of in your stations, and you've been assigned to like read certain gauges and to give her an all clear on certain things. Okay, yeah.
While she's doing that, I'm going to use the invisible stalker ring, and I'm going to whisper, Alexia.
Okay, so the ring is not active.
Hasn't it been a few days? I thought it'd been several days.
Once per week.
Oh no! What have I done?
Your evil plans.
How do
We
we
sleep for 4 days.
give him
That's
the
fine.
kill switch on everybody in the campaign?
Yeah.
Okay, so she says, she kind of puts on a headset and she says, Aklacha, do you read me? And Aklacha sort of chimes in, and you can all hear, ready, Captain. And she says, powering on, and she doesn't move her hands at all. But Aklacha, obviously being the ship's computer, everything sort of lights up like a whole string of lights. All the gauges sort of power on, and there's basically a hum of power that thrums through the Loab. You can kind of feel the power of the whole thing. And she kind of flips a couple of switches up above her head, and she says, check. And then she's obviously addressing you guys. Airlock secure.
Yes.
The word is check, she says.
Oh, check. Of course. We were just checking you.
None of us can understand her but Matt, correct?
Yeah. So I screwed it up.
Okay. Wolf, you're in charge then. Hull integrity?
Hull integrity, how we doing?
100%.
Lothar?
Check.
Let's just roll
Check.
through it. Fuel levels?
Check.
Life support?
Check.
O2 and CO2 levels nominal. Astrogation?
Astrogation. Check.
Sensors?
Check.
Thrusters?
Oh, that's a good one. Check.
This is the point where Mort is going to go on the other side of one of those iris doors, please, John.
I was hoping we would just like eviscerate you with some jet blast.
Okay.
One of those shadows.
She says, all systems nominal. We are ready to go. And
Okay.
she says, hang on, strap in. She says, Aklacha, open hangar bay door. The massive iris, so you're kind of peering over her shoulders. You're sitting down, but you can kind of see through the windshield in front of you. The massive iris door basically slowly opens up. You've done this once before, revealing the runway beyond. As soon as the iris door is all the way open, lights basically on the ground, along the sides, and along the ceiling, all like all the way down that long corridor, illuminating a plasteel corridor, but at the very, very far end is nothing but natural rock. All right.
Oh.
With no
That's gonna be a short trip.
perceivable exit at all. She doesn't seem to be worried in the slightest.
I'm worried in the slightest.
So there's just like that low hum of power, and then she says, engine start. Aklacha activates the engine. Now there's a massive earth-trembling roar as the engines spring to life behind you. Okay, and you all kind of like in your seats, like, what the hell's going on? Like, it feels like the whole thing is like shuddering. You can hear like loose objects sort of like shaking and falling on the ground, and you're like, this whole thing is going to fucking fall apart. Like, what have we done? She repeats again as she's kind of checking gauges. She says, all systems nominal. Low av, actually, she says tangent as she smiles over at Mort, ready for takeoff. Or I smiles at Mort. I'm sorry, over at the rest of the party. Low av, tangent ready for takeoff. Thrusters ready. Check. Engage. And as the thrusters engage, you are rocketed back in your seat as the shuttle just goes whoosh, and it just takes off down that runway as fast as you've ever traveled. And time seems to dilate and slow down a little bit as you're kind of rocketing down that runway, as you see the rock face getting closer and closer and closer. And at the very last second, Trivlock just says very quietly to Aklachaw, she just says, detonate. And their explosive charges outside along the hidden explosive charges along the side of the tunnel explode outwards, and all that rock just goes boom and explodes outward in a cloud of dust. Sunlight just beams in massively, just blinds all of you as the shuttle launches out into midair into a cloud of dust, drops sickeningly as it leaves the ground, and then
I hate that.
and then because you never actually felt that before, and then it sort of picks itself up and hovers, and it makes this long swooping curve, right? And you guys are like in your seats like, what the fuck is going on? And you swoop around until you're facing the great majesty of the cliffs of Arden Vul, and you see before you the two colossi. You have emerged basically from the knees of Arden, which have been completely destroyed.
Oh,
right.
oops.
So everything below the knees, remember she was a kneeling form, is gone. The remnants of that stone are plunging into the plunge pool and on the ground, casting spray everywhere. And you're in the blinding sunlight for the first time in a long time. By the way, Mort, Ted, you're now playing Barrios.
Okay, yeah. There's a strong smell of sheep wee permeating through the ship.
Yeah. So
I want to say it looks as if we've been born again, gentlemen.
That's right.
The shuttle wheels around, and you see all of that. At the same time, you also see that the Arden Vader, the top half of the statue with the arm, is slowly raising up, and there are 7 figures on that hand. 6 of them are Azure Shield Knights.
Okay.
Knights
Don't
of the
have
Azure
room for all of
Shield.
them, but
The 7th is a slight, stern-looking woman
yes.
out of her office, out of her robes of office, but wearing very sort of functional travel gear. And they all look stunned as they're looking down at what just happened, and all they see is like this floating white cloud that is suddenly up before them, right? And they're shouting at each other over the plunging falls, and no one can really hear each other. As well, there is a troop of people that are approaching the base of the plunge pool, sort of like where the tower was, which you were first approached in episode 1. That also are just have dropped everything. They're trying to hold the horses steady that are trying to break free from their carts, and they're just like gazing up at like what this cloud is and like the huge explosion that just happened at the same time. And the elevator continues to rise up.
Well, it still works. That's good.
Okay, we didn't
You
make
almost,
it. That's
you
good.
almost
That's
took her out, bro. You almost went right through her.
good. You know,
Trivlock.
if you want an omelet, right?
Trivlock turns back to you and she says, orders? We have made it.
Oh well, it looks like my invitation was accepted. Couldn't we swing by the hand over there? I'd need to pick up my friend.
Okay, so right away, shuttle kind of climbs up the cliff a little bit. At the same time that it ascends to the top of the cliff is the same time the Arden Vader sort of ratchets into place. They all stumble off onto the plateau, and they're just looking around, and they're looking over. Some of them are like holding each other back so they don't fall over the cliff, and because of the possible danger that's there. And they're pointing and yelling, and they're pointing at that cloud, and they see that it's rising, and they all sort of take out their swords and their weapons. They keep Freitas behind them, and they're just sort of looking at this huge, giant white cloud.
I make my way back to the airlock, and open the outer door so that there's just like this single figure, right, appearing kind of in this magical doorway in this cloud.
Light,
Light behind him.
I'm glad we went with Cloud, not Draken, because that would have been a lot more visceral.
Yeah, that would have been a little bit of trouble, I
You're
think.
coming out of the dragon's butthole.
Can you maneuver the ship close to the hand? I need to pick up my friend.
So she kind of basically swerves it around, and so like the back is facing the hand, and you kind of appear like a god out of the cloud, right? Like handing down with the rays of the sun kind of behind her. And she's
seeing Freitas there, yeah.
So remember the falls are like right there, so it's very, very loud. You can't really talk, right? But she sees you, and you see her mouth. She just looks at you, and you just see her mouth the word wolf herd.
Yeah, it's me. I hold out my hand, and I say, "Come with me,
Okay,
if
so
you
she-
want to live."
All right, so the knights are automatically kind of very protective of her, and she says something to them, and they're scared basically. Like anyone would. She herself looks terrified, so she kind of moves her way through the knights, and they're like, they say something like, "Are you sure, my lady?" And she's kind of pats it away, and she's sort of in a daze, and she moves forward, and she grasps your hand, like holds, reaches up, and you take her hand.
Oh yeah, she weighs nothing. Yeah,
Okay.
I can lift her right up.
The
Give her
moment-
little, 2 hands on the waist boost.
The moment that you clasp her hand, from far in the west along the wall, the very far west, there is a disturbance from the Tower of the Worm. There is a blast of miasmic green gas that gouts into the air. Do you remember that scene in Lord of the Rings with Minas Morgul when like the green light kind of just fires up? It's like that, like straight up the top.
That's a great scene.
Straight out the top of the Tower of the Worm. And it slowly drifts down from on high to obscure the entire tower. Then bursting forth and dispelling the cloud is the immense bulk of the dragon Crastonistrix as it bursts from the top of the tower, scatters the gas cloud, and it's like a slim rocket basically that kind of shoots up, and then the moment it clears the tower and the gas, its wings just sort of poof, parachute out, just poof, and it rises up, and its huge, massive bulk blots out the sun, casting a shadow upon the Arden Vader and the Cloud Shuttle, and it speaks out loud, broadcasting all over the entire city ruins. And Kraz says, "Your existence is forfeit, Draco Ignotus. I suffer no challengers within my desolation." What do you do?
I'm going to walk back to the...
Go ahead. I pull Freitas inside. I think maybe you don't want to be out here.
Okay. You can hear her go, shit.
I'm gonna
It's
take
all right.
the
We do this all the time.
I'm gonna take the ebony staff out. Who knows what it does, really? I'm gonna walk to the airlock, and I'm gonna hold on to whatever I can hold on to with the airlock door still open and the staff ready, and say, "Hit it." I'm gonna have that thing trained out the back door, is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yes. Step on the pedal that makes it go, please.
Okay.
Right
So
away.
punch it basically, right? Yeah. So Trivlock is looking over her shoulder, and she's looking at her readouts, and you just hear her going, "What the fuck is that?" And like she's
Told you.
freaked out. Like everyone, the knights are basically like cowering, right? So Kraz speaks his proclamation and then dies to attack right after you guys say, "Hit it." The airlock slams shut. You want to do something?
Yeah,
You all okay?
I'm gonna try being the pertinent word as we fly, to train the staff at him, and say "Mors Eternum," and hope that it does whatever the fuck I think it'll do. Just,
He's gonna live forever.
Yeah, live forever instead of die. Yeah, death forever. Yeah, I think Mors is death, but
Okay.
That's my expectation.
Uh,
As we're flying, I don't think we should. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to help us out here, guys.
Breath weapons in mind, we might want to close that inner door
Yeah,
to get everybody.
right. So
that
it's
would be cool if you took him out in the last minute for sure.
it dives like a peregrine falcon from the height, like where the sun is. Right. So it folds its wings in and just comes, and its back claws are like are forward, like the back talons are like ready to grasp, and it comes straight for you. Its mouth like opens up wide. The same time as you say hit it, you shoot out. The rest of you guys are in your seats as Wolford slams Freitas in and buckles her in. Upior, you're like hanging on to like one latch, just hanging out the door with a staff like pointed out, and like a black bolt emits from the staff, and it's a bolt that drinks light. It's like just a matte black, just extends outward like a snaky tendril, directly towards directly towards Kraz as the shuttle takes off. It's quite obvious that Kraz is extremely fast and is at basically terminal velocity, but the shuttle has a lot of power, and it is really moving. So the bolt extends outwards and it hits Kraz, and Kraz simply shakes its head with all of its tentacles, and the bolt just sort of dissipates around its body and continues past it.
Dang it.
Okay.
Do you close the airlock door?
Close the airlock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's close the airlock.
Okay.
Well,
I mean, you could try it a second time. Maybe maybe your aim was just a little off.
All of your hearts
I mean,
are pounding. Freitas is beside herself. She can't even speak. You can imagine what her mindset is like. She just every experience that she's experiencing right now is completely foreign to her. She's rocking you back in her seat, and Trivlock says, "Wave goodbye," and you just and you rocket up towards the sun, higher and higher and higher until you are gone, and Kraz has no capability at all to catch you.
Nice.
Somebody
Sweet.
wake up Hicks.
Oh
And
man!
you
Well,
are off to the stars, and that is the last that we see of that section of the AV Club.
I come back in from there. All I can say, I got him good, guys.
Right on.
They
Good job,
didn't
buddy.
do
We all thought.
They have no idea.
Mort's just looking up at the horizon, one little tear coming down his eye, and all of a sudden he just sees like a starburst explosion. And
I mean, in fairness, there is a very not to illustrate for John, but there's this very like Star Wars-esque scene of the pyramid, right? If Mort was sort of watching with the goblins as we flew by, that'd be a very pretty thing.
I was thinking more like the end of Empire, where Luke is on the medical frigate watching Han fly off.
Gotcha.
Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
I think Mort's the guy,
It's
Mort's
bright
the guy standing
daytime.
on
So
top of the pyramid with the radar gun.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah.
it's bright daytime, so like the cloud ship like rockets off and winks out with like a bright pinpoint of light as it exits the atmosphere. As you leave, you can see the great expanse of Arden Vul laid out before you in all its glory for the first time. It's when you go higher and higher, it becomes kind of awe-inspiring how small the whole thing looks, and you realize that all of your adventuring time has been spent there and underneath, and how much that you have yet to actually discover. It all seems so small now when you can see all of Arden Vul, the entire cliff face, Gosterwick, Burdock's Valley, all laid out before you. You've never seen anything like that, with that kind of view before. And the last thing you see before you enter into the stratosphere, where like you rise through a cloud bank and everything's obscured, is you see the dragon just sort of circling in anger, patrolling its desolation. And then it's to the stars you go. And then we cut. Mort, you are back in the debouche after some time, maybe through a journey or three to get back there, depending,
Yep.
but safely enough. Wearing the mask of To Restus, you enter back into the debouche in whichever way, shape, or form you would like. What happens when you reappear?
Should I just read you what I wrote, John? Is it, or do you want me to be more narrative?
Up to you. Whatever you tell me. What happens
All
when
right.
you approach?
So, after some trials and tribulations, Mort returns to the debouche, triumphant and wealthy, his legend, of course, precedes him. And upon his arrival, word travels very quickly, and the faithful begin to gather. And these are ripe fields for the words of Thoth. So Mort immediately welcomes and is gladdened to see his brethren, and promises to lead them in the word of Thoth, and to bring them the knowledge and teach them the value of knowledge, and that the words of Thoth. And he's going to find that there is a fecundity among the goblins that is not merely carnal, but also they're hungry for knowledge and elevation in the higher planes of thinking.
So they actually respond to you as they sort of kneel down, and they, as you sort of prompt them, they say like, "All glory to the light of knowledge."
All glory to the light of knowledge. And so he's going to immediately do a few things, open a school to teach goblins to read and write, to become learned. But he also wishes to find those among the goblins who are the bravest and most noble to become his bodyguard, his fedakin. And he will teach them the imperial arts of war.
To that they say, Thoth's truths are for Thoth's children.
That's right. You guys get it. I like you guys. You guys are good. So he intends to rule in the debauch level there as a peaceful religious figure initially. But eventually, I'm sure there'll be a clash between King and Touristus. And Mort intends to emerge from that clash victorious, banishing the demon and wiping out that breakaway clan. And then he and his remaining AV Club PCs and NPCs will seek the scepters of authority. But as a side note here, I'm going to ask that those who accept the word of Thoth into their hearts and open their minds to knowledge should wear white and yellow robes and should carry a single candle representing the light of Thoth and the light of knowledge. And so that is the path of Mort and of the Touristus.
Let Thoth illuminate our ignorance, they all proclaim.
Right. I'm going to come up with a bunch of that stuff. And he'll like cross-legged float around, with his levitation ring, and bless them and tell them that they are strong and that together they are stronger. And he's going to build up a mighty goblin empire.
Amazing. Okay, so all the goblins are absolutely, at least here in the debauch, are like 100% with you. The remaining members of the AV Club kind of stand off in the distance, kind of letting you have your moment, and they're all sort of like got their arms crossed. They're just sort of like just watching you, like, well done. They like it, and remember too that you're flanked by Bob and Vincent as well. So
that's right.
You're like peaceful thought. You're like, but don't mess around.
Well, the arts of war are a knowledge. One must study both war and peace.
Indeed, they're all for that.
Yes.
Yeah. Gangrene like comes up to you and he's like, can I study the war part?
Absolutely, Gangrene. And I'll put a big red goblin palm print on his face.
Oh yeah, nice. All right, and then we fade out with Mort with his small little army that will soon go against the king once he achieves the scepters of authority. Okay, last thing that happens cinematically, the camera pans away from the debouchement eastward towards the great chasm, spirals down into darkness, plunging past the lit troll lifts manned by numerable Varumani, goes into the lightless rock before opening on a huge born cave expanse that's dominated by softly glowing fungal forest, one that you don't recognize. A shaft of sunlight beams down upon a platform that rises 40 feet from the forest floor, illuminating a beautiful single pear tree in bright sunlight. Connecting to this platform via a curved causeway is a huge, massive, shaped pillar of stone that rises 150 feet to the cavern ceiling, 90 feet to a side, basically the length of like home plate to first plate on the baseball diamond, if you can kind of picture it. Carved with monstrous, leering faces on all sides of the pillar. And arrow slits puncture the exterior. The camera sort of spirals up and around the exterior, and it enters into the topmost chamber, which is the chapter house of the Sun-Scarred Knights. All inside are dressed in full Gothic armor. All of the knights seated upon their oaken seats, which face one large oak throne at the southern end of it. Their varlets are seated on benches on the northeast and northwestern benches, observing the ceremonies. In between the main throne and the seated knights is a 4-foot wide oyster shell that contains a thick pinkish liquid that rests on top of a pedestal. And atop the master's oaken throne sits the master himself, Master Malachite, who is a Rudishva, wearing a circlet of command, dressed in Gothic armor. His skin is a dark gray, extremely sallow face, and he has a long and prominent chin, and his eyes glow solid black, similar to Sir Simonette. And indeed, one knight is on the ground, on one knee, presenting himself to the master, and that knight is Sir Simonette. And he says, Master Malachite, I conclude my report by making it clear that the AV Club has shown me kindness not once, but twice, when I was in dire need. If the return of the Toe Reester spells imminent strife among the goblin tribes, I recommend we put our weight behind Mortis J. Gobliano. And he sort of steps up from and he kind of comes to attention before the master. And then this huge, tall Rudishva in Gothic armor gazes down, and he says to Sir Simonette, It is so mandated. Until such time that his power proves troublesome, the Goblin Mortis is hereby under the protection of the Order of the Sun-Scarred Knights. Those who defy him, defy us.
Woo!
And then we fade to black.
That
Is the end of the Halls of Arden Vul. Well done, guys. You made it very dramatic there in the end.
Wait, last thing. Can I pull
bonus
picture of pina coladas out of the literal sack just as we blast off?
Yeah, exactly.
I have a couple plans before we hit the jump drive. We're not there yet, are we?
We're there. That's it.
We did. We
did
did it, man.
Oh, we are there. Oh.
Yep.
Oh, I'm so sorry, all of you. I have one more thing.
One more thing.
Just one more thing. I am
Tell us
offering a
about the
candidate.
one more thing you were
Just
going to do, Upior. Tell us about it.
One more thing. As we escape the stratosphere and we hit space proper, out of danger, and all of us settle ourselves, I will approach the pilot's seat. And with some hesitation, but not much, look down in my palm at a very significant knife. A knife.
Oh, no.
No, dude.
Such import. And slowly curl my fingers around it, looking at the nape of a neck, still connected to a headset, and say, the limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those whom they oppress, and slide it deeply into her neck.
Why not end with a murder? Yay.
Okay. We will leave it there.
Oh, my God.
All right.
Okay, that will do
I'm
it.
trying to impress a girl here.
Now you've got a body stuck in the ship. You know where to get. Oh.
Oh.
Well,
We'll let your imagination.
Good news, boys. We're not going to Radishva.
yeah. No, you got to go
We're
to.
not going to Radishva. I picked one of the other ones and we shoved it in there while she wasn't looking.
I think you should go to Omicron Persei 8.
Is it like where the aliens from Simpsons are from?
The Preacherama, yeah.
Okay, so
Very
that
cool.
will do
Thank
it.
you, John. That was beautiful, man. That was really good.
That is the end of the campaign. It has been 114 episodes, 6 delves, 2 years and 10 months of real time, and about 3 months of in-game time. I would anticipate, although I certainly haven't calculated, that I would say that you have roughly explored about 15 to 20%
Wow.
of what the Halls of Arden Vul has to offer. if that gives you any indication of the quality of the product in which we have been playing. So I just want to give some thanks to some folks as we end the campaign. I hope you'll stick with us just through this real quick. This is my Oscar speech. First and foremost, I want to thank Rick Barton, who is the author and designer of the Halls of Arden Vul. I do consider this to be the greatest Megadungeon ever published. I don't think that any other Megadungeon holds a candle to it. So thank you, Rick, for designing it. Andreas Claren, who was the cartographer, unbelievably good maps that were so easy to parse and were a joy to look over constantly during the campaign. And Joseph Browning, the head of Expeditious Retreat Press, who was the editor. God knows that was a thankless job, I can imagine. and Joseph, you did a fantastic job editing what was a massive work. And I want to thank Gavin Norman of Old School Essentials for organizing and presenting the BX rules in a manner that made the conversion from Osric, or AD&D First Edition, and the adjudication of those rules such a breeze. If anyone has yet to take a look at Old School Essentials, you can check out the SRD for free on his site. It's also linked below. I want to thank Eric Vulgaris, who has been a wonderful and consummately professional moderator on our Discord server. He also, if you're not aware, I think most of you are in the community probably already are, that he did a wonderful actual play of Arden Vul that had even more episodes than we did, in about a third of the time. And it's called Arden Vulgaris. I'm going to link for that the description down below. So if you want a whole different take of a Megadungeon, a huge long campaign, definitely go check out Eric's campaign. It's wonderful. He uses Shadow Dark, by the way. I want to thank user PBlack476 for early on providing me with a heavily annotated version of the Halls of Arden Vul's upper levels, which helped hugely in parsing information on the fly when I was first getting my feet. And more recently, I want to thank user FevType for his stunning Python script, which adds over 30,000 hyperlinks to the PDF. It was, I so wish that I had that when I first started, but it was super useful for me in the end. And you should definitely go check out that on GitHub. I'll also link it down below. If you're planning on running Arden Vul, it is an indispensable tool if you're running it off a PDF. I want to thank, of course, all of our community members who created and shared artwork and fiction that was inspired by our adventures. That was truly humbling and awe-inspiring every time one of those popped up. It was just such a joy. Every time something would pop up in our art channel on our server, I would type to the guys. I was like, look what they did. Look what they did. It was super cool.
Nothing brought me more joy, you guys. Nothing brought me more joy.
It was super cool. All of our Discord members, our Patreon supporters, all the folks on social media and in real life, like during GaryCon, who showed their love, support, and positive engagement throughout the length of the campaign, really kept us going. Getting that positive feedback was really, really cool. And lastly, and probably most importantly, I want to thank all of you guys, the four of you. I want to thank all of you guys for being good friends and players who made this entire campaign like a huge true joy to referee. And it was a highlight of like my multiple decade career playing RPGs. Your ingenuity, your enthusiasm, and your investment should be a model for other groups, I think. And I'm really blessed to have you guys as players for so many years. So thank you. I really do appreciate it.
We love you, John, and I love all of the rest of you too. Yeah,
I've been in a lot of gaming groups over the years, and by far this is the tightest, most effective, most interesting, most creative, and just most fun group to play with, for sure. And I'm glad that we're not stopping here.
That's right. Yeah.
One more thing, guys. Yeah. I have one more thing. Just one more thing. Just one more thing that I want to do.
Oh no! Fuck you, Mike. Fuck you, Mike.
Blessed are the map makers and the record keepers for a campaign of this size. Like honestly, like I never took a note in 3 years. I never took a note.
Mike, I can believe it.
Sometimes I would sit here and pretend to write shit down on my notepad, but it was never anything for this. So without Matt and Ted and David pitching in on map making, like it would have been a total shambles. And thank you guys. And thank you, John.
Yeah.
You're a beautiful
more
man.
Matt and Ted than me, but yeah.
Yeah, no, everyone
Total
contributed more than I ever thought that I thought possible. So it was amazing.
Total number of pages, Mike, in that notes document, 144.
Oh,
And I have close to the same in my separate document, and plus, I don't know, 600 lines of entries or something on the treasure, 694 lines on the treasure tracker.
That's more effort than I ever put into college. Like, it's just true.
So audience out there, you can kind of see that there's a lot of behind the stuff that made this sort of this thing sort of run. It was all old school play, old school map making, old school record keeping. It's all done digitally, of course, but it's still the principles were all done old school. It's really it was a joy to go through for all these past 3 years. So as Ted said, though, this campaign is ending. This is not the end of 3D6 Down the Line. 3D6 Down the Line continues. First thing on the agenda is we will be doing a live streamed super detox of sorts, a campaign detox. That will be only our second live stream ever. Might have some some hiccups here and there, but we're going to do our best to get that up and running. We're going to unpack the entire campaign. We're going to take questions from the community live. That will most likely be on a Sunday during the daytime hours of United States Eastern Time. We're going to that should be like Sunday evening for Europeans. And hopefully will be conducive to like West Coast folks as well. We're just trying to get as many people around the world as we possibly can at a reasonable time, and we think that's probably the best time. So keep an eye out on the Discord and on social media for when we announce when that'll be. If you are watching or listening to this in the far future, which a lot of you probably are, then that live stream is already available on YouTube for you to enjoy. So just pop on over and you
It
can
was
just
really good.
enjoy it right now. We look forward to many more fun adventures, more interactions with our wonderful community, and to see what the future holds. So please remember to do your solemn duty, which is to like and subscribe. Hit that bell icon to get notifications every time we publish very, very new material. And if you've enjoyed this campaign after 114 episodes, maybe you want to throw us a few extra bucks and hit us up with a Patreon subscription, get a couple extra bennies, access to some of our secret channels on our Discord server, which of course is free to join at any time. And as I said before, we have a wonderful community of folks that you can interact with there. And thank you as always to our Patreon supporters, our explorers, our delvers, and especially our conquerors. And I have the privilege of being the last person to read these out for the Halls of Arden Vul. So here we go. We have Todd, Brawler Jake Ain't Joshin' Around, DM Dr. Rob, Robert Kenyon, Steve, Jeff Marino, Alan Barton, Alexander Baus, Eric Tsunami MD, Samuel Dillon, Gregory Distelhorst, Yesterday's Glory, Mike Small, DMW71, Richard Barton, Isaac Spencer, James Boyle, Doc Jones 73, Jackson Bates, John Hooker, Zachary Hall, Saps, Papa Bear DM, Zach Shiflett, Guess We're Not Going to Mercury 605, Ruben K, Pour One Out for Lisbeth, Procyon, Dakota Nielsen, Cam, Stephen Quisenberry, John and Law Logan, Kabrowski's, Magic Meat Machine, Tom Leary, Phil, Nakanu, Nick, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, Ted Gast, James Doig, Nefarious Gamer, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, M. Mont, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, Ash Gabrielle, can't be reasoned with, doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and absolutely will not stop ever until you're Kerbog Khan. Brawler Josh, Ain't All Jake, Iona, Michael Walker, Han Dandler, love this fucking campaign. Summon Toast, Too Rude, Too Ishvan, Dungeon Heart Adam, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kick Maniac, Dire Gru, Tom Eric Garrettson, and last but certainly not least, the Matts. Matthew Mattis, Matt Walsh, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young. Everyone, thank you so much for watching and or listening to 3D6 Down the Line, the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet. This is the end of our campaign in the Halls of Arden Vul. Be kind to one another, and we will see you for the next campaign. Take care.
Thank you so much, John.
Thanks, everybody.